94% of people who feel like a fraud never admit to it. And I think that's because they don't actually know what they're dealing with. Imposter syndrome is not real. Not as one thing, anyway. It's actually a label for 6 completely different experiences, and labeling them as one thing is exactly the reason why every single time you think you've dealt with it, it comes back in a completely different form. Now, I've spent years deeply looking into this properly, not just like a 5-minute scroll. By the end of this video, you'll understand your imposter syndrome better than anything else you've watched on it. Because the moment that you know what you're facing, you can finally be honest with yourself about how to tackle it. Imposter syndrome isn't just one thing. It's at least 6 different experiences. Perfectionism, fear of visibility, people-pleasing, comparison, hypervigilance, identity confusion, all wrapped up into one single label. Perfectionism looks like rewriting the same caption multiple times before posting. Fear of visibility looks like having the answer to a question in a group and waiting for someone else to have the answer. People-pleasing is underpricing a quote because you're scared of the customer's face when they see the number. Comparison looks like scrolling through a competitor's page before you sit down to do your own work. Hypervigilance looks like rereading a message 5 times for a tone that isn't there. Identity confusion looks like feeling like a fraud the moment that you get paid for something that you used to do for free. Naming the specific pattern is what makes it fixable. The imposter syndrome label never was. And I don't just say this as a nice reframe, because left unaddressed, imposter syndrome costs something real. 63% of people who experience it say it drives them to procrastinate. 57% says it drives them to overwork to compensate. And it measurably holds people back from promotions, leadership opportunities, and being seen as ready for the next role. 94% never even say it out loud to anyone. The actual damage is not from the feeling itself, it's what the feeling stops you from doing or makes you overdo. This video isn't about helping you feel more understood, it's getting you back into action on your terms. That's the solution that we're heading towards. So what causes these patterns? The brain isn't built to make you successful. The brain is built to keep you alive. One leading study on neuroscience is that the brain constantly predicts safety based on past evidence. So, have I experienced this before? And did I survive? If not, it predicts danger regardless of our capability. Self-doubt today is often old evidence. School criticisms, a parent's expectations, a past humiliation, all firing on a present day trigger. And these patterns can also be old survival mechanisms that helped you once, but now they hold you back. People-pleasing specifically has a name for this in trauma research called the fawn response, which is the system's 4th survival strategy alongside fight, flight, freeze. Mine started young and it stopped serving me the moment that I had to become my own person and stop being agreeable. Many of us have to learn that the hard way. There's also a physiological reason this hits ADHD brains harder. The ADHD nervous system spends more time in an active state to begin with, so it has a shorter fuse before a casual moment of self-doubt tips into a full-blown nervous system reaction. That's why the same thought can knock an ADHD brain sideways for the rest of the day when it barely registers for someone else. I wanted my ADHD viewers to have this specifically because understanding turns self-criticism into self-compassion. I'm about to share with you an amazing somatic practice. Step 1, sense. Notice the body sensation first. This could be a tight throat, a shallow breath, a collapsed chest, a clenched jaw. Step 2, story. Listen to the thought that follows. It isn't the truth, it's a narration. The body speaks before the mind. Step 3, shift. There is 2 parts to this. The first part you have to master is to name the sensation out loud. My chest is tight, moves it from body to language and buys you a few seconds of choice before the story takes over. The second part takes evidence. It's something that I like to do as a follow-up. It's a truthful reframing of the story. You won't always have enough evidence yet to reframe the story with confidence during the shift step. That is normal. Evidence is something you build over time, which I'll get into in a moment. Naming the sensation alone buys you a few seconds of choice before the story takes over, and talked you out of what you were going to do. And that's really the whole point, because the aim isn't a perfect reframe of the story, it's about taking action. Step 4. Settle. Naming the sensation interrupts the story, but it doesn't change your physiology on its own. This step does. 2 inhales through the nose, 1 long exhale out. This is the physiological sigh, the fastest known way to bring your nervous system down out of an activated state in real time. This is what finally gets you to safety, not just aware of the story. I love doing this because I can do it literally anywhere, and it makes me feel so good. For example, when I'm posting content on social media, sense, my throat tightens, my heart beats faster. Story, this isn't good enough, everyone's gonna judge me, it's not ready, who am I to be posting this? Then the shift, I usually say out loud or in my head, I'm feeling the tightness in my throat and the racing heart. And then I reframe the story by telling myself the truth, which is, I'm feeling this because I'm out of my comfort zone, which is necessary for where I need to be right now. And then settle. I take my breaths and I do it anyway. I love it. Remember, the aim is never about perfectly reframing the story, it's about action. And here's how that action becomes something your nervous system can trust. So that somatic practice, the sense, story, shift, settle, isn't a standalone tool, it's actually step 1 of what I call the evidence loop. This is the sequence that actually works to rebuild that pattern by feeding your nervous system new evidence relevant to whatever of those 6 patterns you're facing. This is the whole point of splitting imposter syndrome into 6 different patterns, because confidence advice alone can't target a specific pattern. Knowing which pattern you're dealing with is letting you know what small action is required as evidence against it. Perfectionism needs evidence that good enough is safe to post. Fear of visibility needs evidence that being seen doesn't end badly. Different pattern, different evidence, same loop. Safety, action, evidence, confidence. Safety is our sense, story, shift, settle, practice. And that's how we get to safety. The settle step is specifically what shifts your physiology, not just your awareness of the story. Once you're regulated, you're able to take action. This tracks with something called neuroception, the nervous system scanning for safety cues below conscious awareness before it will let you act. This is why affirmations alone don't work. Telling yourself, I am confident, when your body is reading the room as dangerous, doesn't change the reading. What changes is a small repeatable action taken while scared that goes okay. That becomes evidence. Evidence is what the nervous system actually trusts, not words. That's the evidence loop on repeat. Safety, action, evidence, confidence. So back where we started, 6 different experiences, 1 label. You're not fighting some generalized sense of imposter syndrome. You now know how to feed new evidence to a specific pattern until your nervous system updates. This is not a mindset shift, not an affirmation. The actual work is evidence aimed at the right target. The real question isn't, am I good enough? It's, can my nervous system safely hold the life I'm asking for? Growth doesn't wait for your nervous system to catch up, it just keeps moving and your body is left with the consequences of that. You want the next version of your life faster than your nervous system can trust it. So the work is helping your body to realise the next version of your life is not a threat and it's not becoming somebody else. I know my own nervous system can update because I've done it before on purpose and I still do it all the time. I quit unhealthy relationships to people, alcohol, drugs, nicotine, self-beliefs. And at the time, it felt unsafe to let go of. And each one proved that the body can learn a new normal. If you want more on building a life that actually works with your brain, mentally, physically, socially, financially, that's what this channel's about. So subscribe for more. Thanks for watching.